parents of the early system. Now, we do the particular reflect simulation during the events, and we do have the university collective. Critical of this, all of these companies, power with land amendments, and it is being referred to control. Again, we do have some like these. One of them out there that has on the vehicle with us. So I'm going to stop around the X25 7, where you have a line. That's all. Field one out of the minute. Three from center of the four. Keep them. Keys. Those are the going out of the minute. That's it. There, I see it. 121. She might spring the 121 that worked good. The 20 and Northern, 20 and Northern that worked good around number 11. We go at 3 over 3. Cameron will have a share of 62. And the 62X is the Ryan Wall. That's a great time to get tonight. We had some great companies right there. That's it, we got here. 9 2 night simulation 30. We certainly don't need young folks for that time we got here to mix it up. Before we go to drink the night, get into the week, drink the vehicle break. We do have a lot of folks that talk to that. We got on the week. We'll have to get to that here.
For the
here tonight. We're able to come back in 64 leading the way. We do have the 555X. That's Emma Long out of Brimfield. Sponsored by Cardiac Restoration, Torque, and Move It Now. You guys want to come up, watch, and welcome to slide up to. And we got the number 40, Cecilia Krieger out of Rootstown, and finally Carter Baldwin out of Randolph. We didn't have all of these classes on the schedule, but again, if you're ready to get out here, I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to run when they 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go, and they are making their way off the line down here. Again, it is a little bit slick. These young drivers, again, Cyrus Hines at the number 64, Emma Long in that 555X. Cecilia Krieger driving the number 40, and Carter Baldwin in the number 7. Carter Baldwin, the hometown driver out of Randolph. Cecilia Krieger here out of Rootstown in that number 40. Emma Long driving out of Brimfield in the 555X. And Cyrus Hines here from Wadsworth in the 64. Now the youth class up first. We do have our Pro Stock full size. Pro Stock full is going to be up next. Good back-to-back hit between Carter Baldwin in the 7 and the 40 of Cecilia Krieger. 64 kind of making its way around, threading the needle. It looks like it wants to go after 555X. Emma Long did very well last night driving that 555X. Looks like our one youth driver. No, we do have, looks like 2 in every vehicle out here. So tonight, we do have 2 drivers and a passenger. It's a driver and passenger in each one. They don't necessarily have to have. They get to the point once they're comfortable enough to go venture out on their own. A lot of them will lose a passenger who gives the tricks of the trade and little tips. Driving, again, this is a great way for these young people to get acclimated to the sport. Drivers in this class can start out as young as 10 years old and go up to 16. And once they're 16, they're not able to have the driver's license yet. I'll tell you, it is fun to watch these cars. That is one heck of a wallop. Back to back between the 555X of Emma Long and that number 7 of Carter Baldwin. You can see all of the folks that were in those vehicles getting jostled around when they made the contact here. It's a very hard track. May look a little sloppy on top, but they're still getting some pretty good traction out here for sure. The other thing to keep in mind, if you have never driven a front-wheel drive vehicle in reverse, it gets mighty squirrely, mighty fast. So my hat's off to these drivers that are able to keep it under control and keep things rolling. It's like a 64 having a little bit of a rough time out here. The stopwatches are out. And doggone it, we lost the 64. Cyrus Hines having a bad time, got up against that concrete barricade over there and just wasn't able to get her going, and that was a good nose-to-nose punch for Cecilia Krieger on the attack after the number 7 Carter Baldwin in that 7 automobile. 555 more real estate between her and the rest of the pack. So that 40. 4-0 gotta go. Contact, there's a barrage of hits on that number 7. Carter Baldwin on the receiving end, trying to get jockeyed around without a mark of play. Looks like the 555X finally able to find the reverse gear. Having a little bit of trouble at least early on.
Folks, we got to thank each and every one of you in the stands for coming out here. Not the most opportune night, that's for sure, with showers in the air. Always a great night for a demolition derby. Don't get too wild in the sky out here, but right now this is definitely doable. Number 7 definitely starting to get a little bit hot up under the hood on that one, and a good back-to-back hit between Cecilia Krieger in the 40 and the 555X and Emma Long. Carter Baldwin trying to get jockeyed around. 7. Looks like the 555X is sustaining a lot of damage to the back of that vehicle, making it a little bit difficult for that vehicle to make any. I'll have to go to the sauna tonight. Something just about to lose. Got a lot of steam inside of the driver's compartment of the number 7. Referees keep a close eye to make sure they're not letting speed out of there, but it looks like they're doing okay inside of Carter Baldwin, number 7. The 555X definitely a little bit slower on the go. Building up some speed as it comes down the track. Veteran move to number 40, letting go of the steering wheel and let that thing kind of freewheel a little bit. You definitely don't want to try to stop it. He hits that because bad things can happen. 7's got a pretty good idea. Duct tape arm inside of the steering wheel. That's always a good safety measure. One roll of duct tape could save a lot of bad things. The steering wheel wrapped, and that's just to keep the arm from going up inside of there and getting spun around. Unfortunately, some bad things can happen. Another vehicle hits the steer tire. Well, and speaking of the number 7, I can see that orange steering wheel going around to the right, but none of those inputs are getting transferred down to the front tire, so it looks like something definitely broke loose in the steering of that number 7. Carter Baldwin not doing a bad job to maintain some contact. See, kind of drive out of the way. Might have a little bit more of a rough time getting down there to make some contact. Right now, number 7 holding its own. Cecilia Krieger momentarily stopped over there. Cecilia back underway in that number 40. In this youth class, these are the youngest drivers that we have throughout the evening. We do have one young driver that's been here. One of the big cars last night. I believe she's going to be making a return trip. Carter Baldwin still managing to keep the number 7 in contention. As you can see, that steering column definitely not doing anything other than acting as a handle inside of there. natural movement for the driver is to try to keep steering. Once you realize nothing's there, still give it a go. But that steering wheel, you can see him just flinging around the steering wheel on that number 7, and it's not doing anything. It's like the 40 is stalled out right now. Cecilia Krieger trying to get restarted. Number 7 is still running hot, still running, still making some contact. Right now mixing it up with him along in the 555X. Okay, looks like the number 40 has run out of time. We're down to 2. And it looks like we may quickly go down to 1. I see a hand reaching out for the flag. And it looks like they still got the flag in the air, and there's still some time on the clock. And there goes the flag from the doorpost, folks. And there is your winner with a repeat after last night, the 555X, Emma Long out of Brimfield. Emma Long out of Brimfield with the win. Second place is going to go to the number 7. That is Carter Baldwin out of Randolph. And in third, that was Cecilia Krieger. And so
that's the V8 fired up. I hear him rolling onto the track. And it looks like the 114, Todd Gorman, is going to be leading things on. The 538X is in next. Shane Day out of the one. The 310X, that's Joe Heater out of Atwater. The 75X, Mallory Heater out of Atwater. I told you. The 42X, that's George Lewis out of Randolph. The 10X, Aaron Jacobs out of Atwater. Sponsored by Monkey and Cooley. The number 412 out of Ravenna, we got Cedric Brown. Sponsored by Young's Automotive. The 512 is in next out of South Carolina. That's Donnie Gibbons. The 515 driving out of Kent. That's Hunter and Pete. Sponsored by James Concrete, Doors and more. And finally, the number 77. 77,
looks like we are ready for the Pro Stock Minis, the 53. That is Dave Gnarly Dog Gnar out of Ravenna, sponsored by MDR Auto Services. Following him is going to be the 01 Sean Petrie out of Manaway. The 63X, that is going to be Alec Dermer out of Kent. And here comes the 608 out of Louisville. That is Josh Burns. Okay, looks like it's going to be the number 95, Dustin Lewis out of Dorset. And finally, the EC40 Junior. Actually, that's the FC40 Junior, Hutton Krieger out of Rootstown. Should have known that number in my sleep. All right, so we got all of our Pro Stock Minis in here. Got 6 of them tonight. Going to give them a go. Looks like the green flags are in the air. Drivers and referees are ready, so let's count them down. Starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go. They're going to be off and running here in the Pro Stock Mini class at the Smash It, Crash It, Tear 'em Up Automobile Demolition Derby, night number 2 at your 2025 Portage County Randolph Fair. FC40 Junior, Hutton Krieger going back to back with the Gnarly Dog and the number 53 already kicking things off. Got most of the drivers finding their targets. We got Dustin Lewis in the 95. Backing up, already cut. Hold him up. Oh, all right. Looks like they're back to green. Going to go ahead and drop it and rock it here. The Gnarly Dog going back to back with Josh Burns. 608. 608 going to go back and repay the favor. And the 63X Alex out of Kent. Hey, and the buzz bombs are making some noise and tearing things up. They're nice job. Early going to Pro Stock Mini event. FC40 Junior, Hutton Krieger out of Rootstown. Back into forward, trying to make his way down through there. Dustin Lewis came out. Cut him off at the pass, if you will, and it looks like he wanted to find the 53. A lot of real estate for these 6 Pro Stock Minis. You can see that these cars are definitely hard. They're bouncing off one another, hitting nose to nose. And that was Sean Petrie in the 01. Right now, the FC40 Junior Hutton Krieger mixing it up. 53, Dave Gnarly Dog Gnar out of Ravenna, back to back. Rootstown native of Hutton Krieger. The FC40 Junior. Now the 63X Alec Dermer out of Kent momentarily stalled out, but Alex got his 63X fired back up and he is rolling down the track. Dustin Lewis is on the timer. Number 95. Lost that right rear, slowing him up a little bit. 63X also on the timer, but he's showing some movement. Now remember how to get back on the track. And it looks like the 95 has broken his stick. Dustin Lewis taking himself out of contention. For tonight's event, the 0-1 Sean Petrie staring down the barrel at the FC40 Junior of Hutton Krieger. Going to battle with one another. Hutton Krieger out of Brookstown. 0-1 Sean Petrie out of Manaway. Dog Nar out of Ravenna, making his way into the side once again. The FC40 Junior Hutton Krieger. Said the 0-1's out, so we're down to 3. Okay, looks like we're down to 3 already. Down to 3. The 0-1 went out, ran out of time shortly after that. 63X ran out, so we are down to the last 3. That is Hutton Krieger out of Rootstown, the FC40 Junior. Josh Burns in the 608 out of Louisville. And the 53, the gnarly dog, Dave Nar out of Ravenna. Making a hit, and unfortunately, looks like he had a bad encounter after that last hit that he made. Knocked the life out of the number 53. He's trying to get her going once again, and it looks like we've got the 608 getting jockeyed around, and the FC40 Junior playing a little cat and mouse, trying to see who's going to stick their neck out first. Down to 2. Looks like 53 is the flag pulled off the doorpost here. So we are down to 2 left running, I believe. We've got the FC40 Junior, Hutton Krieger and Josh Burns in the 608. All the action migrated down to the southern portion of the track. this from Josh Burns in the 608. Solid hit as they go nose to nose. After this heat's over, we're only going to have 6 vehicles to pull off the track, and then we're going to roll into the full-size truck. Full-size truck drivers, you'll need to be at the ready. Josh Burns in the 608 FC40 Junior Hutton Krieger. Seems to be pretty evenly matched. Although the FC40 Junior seems a little bit warmer, you can see a lot of steam coming out. See how both of them continue to run. 7 minutes pass by here in the Pro Stock Mini event. A little more steam coming off the FC40 Junior's engine compartment. drove some hard cars, and you can see the damage starting to take effect. Again, both vehicles very evenly matched. Not sure which way this is going to go right now, it appears. FC40 Jr. trying to get jockeyed around from position 608. Continuing a barrage of hits on the side. Hutton Krieger's FC40 Jr. Okay, looks like we have the FC40 Junior reaching up for the flag, the 608. Looks like he's got that checkered flag heading his way, and there, folks, is the winner. That's going to be Josh Burns out of Louisville in the number 608. Second place, a respectable finish for Hutton Krieger in the FC40 Junior. Hutton's here at Randolph. And the 5-0 Austin McComas out of Atwater, sponsored by Storm Bros. And finally, the 9mm Nick Bonnert out of Talmadge. Again, you've got pretty good odds of making some money tonight if you brought you a full-size truck. Okay, looks like the green flags are in the air. Drivers and referees are ready. We're going to go ahead and give them a countdown, starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go. They're off and running here, and a whole lot of real estate. These pickups. The Double D's taking the first hit, actually the first and second. 5-0, first one to make some contact on the 22. Austin McComas, 22. Looks like he made a hit off the 9mm Adam 6 monitor. And look at him, wrong hit, and boy, that last hit, hold him up. That looked like it had a little weight to it. Looks like the green flags are flying. Well, and doggone it, not a whole lot of movement. Hardware fell off of that thing, and it's like throwing out a boat anchor. Millimeter always great running truck. Familiar up here. Portage County Randolph Fair stop. You can see Nick Connor go out like that. We still have Austin McComas in the 50 and the number 22, Adam Lang Jr. out of Randolph. Lang's auto double D. Wallop earlier, courtesy of the 9mm. The last impressive hit the 9mm was able to do. Put some serious damage to the right rear on that 22. That 22 is damage to the drivetrain right now, not able to find. Oh, it looks like he's reached up. He's going to call it a night already, and that was a fast truck heat. But what do you know? We've got the number 50 going to be taking away the checkered flag. That is Austin McComas, sponsored by Stormbro, with the win. Second place, Adam Lang Jr., sponsored by Lang Auto. And in third, it's like Vince Hamrick and the number 70 out of Rootstown going to be leading the way, sponsored by R&D Auto and Truck and Brookhart Metal Fabricating. Number 62, that's Eric West out of Cuyahoga Falls. The 61, that's going to be Doug Morey out of Atwater. The 07 out of Rootstown, that's Tyler Paulus, sponsored by Christian Construction. Well, the FC40 Junior out of Rootstown, that's Hutton Krieger once again. Can't have enough fun out here in the Demolition Derby world. Following him in is going to be the number 510 HTK. That's Brandon Klingensmith out of Atwater. Number 51, Bob Hartman out of Deerfield, sponsored by Windows, Doors, and More. We did have one other one signed up. Doesn't look like he was going to be able to make it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, well, it looks like we've got our green flags flying. Drivers and referees are ready, so we're going to count them down, starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go, and they are coming off the line here. The two vans making the first contact, the 51 and the 510. That is Brandon Klingensmith and Bob Hartman. Bob Hartman is 51. Trucks, vans, and SUVs. Look at them go. My goodness. The 07. These are vans, trucks, and SUVs. Doing one heck of a job, and you can see the trucks back to back. Number 61 this time, Doug Morey out of Atwater, going after the 62 of Eric West. Number 510 having a rough time, Brandon Klingensmith out of Atwater, and look at those two trucks starting to fold up. 61 and 62. Watched a lot of these here, and the vans tend to do very well in this particular event. For those of you out here, you got the soccer mom vans, as they call them. They're very safe vehicles, very rugged and very durable. Well, and doggone, looks like 510 HTK calling her a night. As you can see, the 61 starting to fold up a little bit more with each and every hit. That pickup truck on 61, that was Doug Morey. The FC40 Junior, spinner and sputtering over on the other side of the track. That was a clean shot in front of the driver's door. Looks like that hit right on that front steer tire of the 61. Oh, he's got a wow for sound now, folks. He was going down the track at ramming speed in the FC40 Junior. That was Hutton Krieger. Being chased down by the 62. Eric West, I think, going to want to get in the middle. There's not a whole lot left of that 07. That's Tyler Paulus out of Rootstown. Man folded down on the ground, and I'll tell you, the 510. What a heck of a wallop. I'm not sure he knew that was coming. Once again, got some of these vehicles definitely getting warm. 61 for sure, starting to feel that bed right up off of that machine. It's going high in the sky on the right rear. 51 is off to the side. That's Bob Hartman out of Deerfield into the side. Up to 7-0, Vince Hamrick. Be rolling back down through here. Oh, the FC Portage Jr. going after that left drive axle on the pickup truck. Getting her wound up again, and this time he's going to try to go after the 51. The 51, Bob Hartman was able to shimmy out of the way just in the nick of time. First time they've run these things. The 51 is definitely getting mighty hot over here. He's trying to get her going, but Bob Hartman having a bad time at getting some movement out of this minivan that he's in, that silver machine. Hutton Krieger down at the far corner. A little bit of running room. He's going to come back after the number 70 of Vince Hamrick out of Ritztown. 51 beats the clock. He was definitely getting close on time in that 51. He was sitting there in that steam cloud. The 61, Doug Morey. See that old pickup truck sagging in the middle. Belly ever down on the ground almost. And he's still getting some hits and making some things happen. Right now the 70 not showing any movement. And the tables have turned. I thought the FC 40 Junior was having a hold him up. In the air, waving around. Down to two, nobody's on the side. He's telling to bring it on. Okay, looks like the 70 was still on the timer. I'm being told they did have him on the timer down here. So it looks like time just ran out on all these because right now it was down to people having the stopwatches and time on their side. The FC 40 Junior, Hutton Krieger, going to be taking the win. Second place, the 51, that's Bob Hartman out of Deerfield, sponsored by Windows, Doors, and More. And in third, with time on his side, Vince Hamrick out of Rootstown had just enough time. X64, he's out of Princetown. Here comes the 1504 out of Alliance. That's Nevada Butera. And in the X68 out of Streetsboro, that is Howard Wilson. Got the number X69 out of Alliance, Adam Fox. The number 925 out of Mogador, that's going to be Sam Mars. Got a driver out of Solon in the number 95. That's Matthew Hall. And out of Diamond, the number 18, Avery Carrington. The 131 out of Deerfield, Eric Sapp. And we do have the number 777 out of Deerfield. That's driving in honor of Jesse. Having a little bit of a rough way to go getting out, it seems like. Justin Sapp getting jockeyed around into position. And we've got another 777, John Harvey out of Ravenna. The 88 is going to be Christopher Morey out of Atwater. Following him, also out of Atwater, in the 83, Jason Webb. And out of Ravenna, the 009, Donald Paulett. And finally, the 07 out of Rootstown, sponsored by Christian Construction, is Tyler Paulett. Okay, looks like we do have the green flags flying. Drivers and referees are all ready. So let's give them a countdown, starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let them go, and they're off and running. Street stock minis. Oh, they're getting one heck of a Malachi crunch out in the middle of the track. Like momentarily knocked the life out of that automobile. Go ahead and drop it and get them back underway. Safety issue down at the other end of the track. They did get that situated. A couple drivers climbed out and leave the X68 with the others that climbed out. That was oh my goodness. Oh, hold them up. Oh, switching over to green. The greens are flying, and they're going to go ahead and give them a wave and get things back underway. Got a wild monkey sticking out from that number. Pointing right at you, Sam Clark. Sticking out like a beautiful. I can see that roof sign making some movement. And our other 777, that's John Harvey out of Ravenna. Working in the middle of the track. Here comes the 009 up into the 777. Here's track central. He's going to keep pushing her on down toward the 925. Next one off the hit list. Sam Mars out of Monument. Webb in the 83. Well, that's the land shark. Got some movement out of the 1X of Mitch Adams. The Street Stock Minis. Last class of the evening. Somebody definitely lost a lot of the coolant in a big hurry. So I tell if they came up with 7 John Harvey or one of the vehicles next to him, 777. He did the right thing. He had that driver's door and he was watching out for the fellow drivers out there on the track. A little close then. I don't think he wanted to make contact with the chance of the driver's door that was behind him, so he did stop just shy. Boy, did he take one heck of a hit from the 009 of Donald Pullett out of Ravenna. Next up will be the number 18. Driven by Avery Carrington out of Diamond. Avery Carrington turning his sights on the number 1X of Mitch Adams. The Land Shark making his way down the track. Nose to nose right at track central. 88 was in there. That was Maury out of Atwater. I believe that was him. We also had Andre Ewart out of Suffield in an 88 signed up. I think that was the Maury machine that's out there. Got the number 18 right in front of him. That was Avery Carrington that went nose to nose with the 88. Not sure either one's going to recover from that hard hit, but we'll see how things go. Got some movement out of the 009 of Donald Pullett. John Harvey and his 777 still doing well. Do we know who's in third? We've got a lot of cars still on the clock right now. So the 777 broke off. We still got a lot on the timer. They're still trying to refire. The 009 definitely with the advantage, Donald Pullett. We had the 88 and the 18. Oh, we've got the 1X that ran out of time. They were trying to get his attention down here. He did run out of time. I was told they were trying to get his... I need the number. Okay, well, it looks like that's going to be it. We've got the checkered flag going out here for sure, for sure. The winner is going to be the 009 Donald Pullett out of Ravenna with the win. The 131 is in second place. That's Eric Sapp out of Deerfield. It was on the timer. It came down to some seconds here because that shark is in second. Third place is going to be the 1X of Mitch Adams. Things happen mighty quick, but all of the referees had somebody on the timer, and that's why the timer is so important. We've had people break off in the past.